I feel like this is the question that might get clipped. At what point in a golf tournament do you realize this is so scheduled? I have to map out when I can go to the bathroom.
This is the LPGA Edge. And now your host with the cheat code, Kent Paisley.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of the LPGA Edge. Scottie, Leonard, how we doing?
Good. Good to be on, and got to see a little bit of Riviera today. So yeah, no, it's good.
You know who else you saw at Riviera today?
I don't know who.
Or at least I hope you did. Otherwise, this joke makes no sense. The 2023 U.S. Women's Open winner, Allisen Corpuz, joining the show. Allisen, thanks for coming on. I know you got 18 holes in today at Riv. What's the course looking like right now?
Yeah, it's really pure. I mean, this was my third time playing it. I've played it 2 times previously, and I feel like every time you get there, it's just in pristine condition. And I'm really excited for a good week. It's just awesome what the USGA comes in and just like the build on 18 is insane.
Were those 2 previous times while you were at USC, or was it in the run-up to this week?
Yeah, 1-1. So I played it my last year at SC once, and then I played it about a month and a half ago when we were here for LCAB. Played with Megan Kang and Allison Lee.
Playing with fellow American friends on the LPGA. You guys have never talked about playing with each other before out there. For both of you who have now seen the course, I know, Allison, you just talked about 18. What's going to be the toughest thing that a viewer watching the U.S. Women's Open might not be able to process watching on TV?
Yeah, I think just the undulation of the greens. It's a bit like how everyone says Augusta looks flat on TV, and they're like shocked by how much like hills there are in person. It's relatively flat, I'd say, like tee to green. Like there's a few like up slopes, down slopes through the course, but I'd say the greens just have so much like subtle breaks that like I've watched the Genesis on TV, and you just don't really see that until you're up close, and you hit a putt and it breaks like 6 feet.
Yeah, I would say definitely the greens. Like, looked at all the pin positions from the Genesis and also from the USAM, and like it's just they can get as crazy as they want, and there's going to be a few crazy ones out there just because it is the USGA. And so I think just putting yourself missing in the right position, like lag putt from 20, 30 feet, I think is going to be really big this week, because you definitely can't go at some of the pins and miss and put yourself in tough spots to make fives. So.
Wait, are we saying a U.S. Women's Open encourages par? That's never happened at this tournament before. No,
Exactly.
no way. Allison, bringing it back to you here. Appreciate you coming on as a past champion of the tournament. Going back to Pebble, what's a moment that week that you have not talked about and no one else knows that you instantly remember when you think about the week?
Oh man, I mean, I feel like I've rehashed it so much, but um, no, I mean, I'd say that whole like final round. I mean, like obviously, I had the 3-shot lead going into 18, and a lot of people like focus on the finish, but I just remember even like the first few holes, like I birdied one to get off to a hot start. Two, I was actually in a divot. The third shot, like for the approach, kind of like thin it out and it goes through the green. So I'm like long to this back right flag, and I hit a chip. It was just a tough chip. I hit it to like 10 feet, and I remember like, I mean, I watched a video and it kind of looks like it just goes straight in with dying speed. Like I swear it just sat on the lip for like 10 seconds and then falls in. It was just kind of like just a good start as well. And yeah, it's crazy that it's been 3 years now.
I remember, so I was following your group that day, and I remember on the second when you made that putt, I wrote down, that's a putt that someone who wins a major ends up getting. Because I remember, like, it felt like it was just, then it dropped versus you just,
Yeah, I mean,
like,
kind of the
casually
same
making
thing.
it.
I mean, obviously it was the second hole of the day, so you never want to get too ahead of yourself. But I kind of thought the same thing. Like I was like, I feel like any other day that just sits on the lip and doesn't go in. And then, I mean, yeah, like birdied three, bogeyed four, missing up and down from the front, and then chipped in for birdie on five. Like pretty similar
Sick.
chip before, and then yeah, just chipped it in. So just like a really fast start, I believe. Yeah, par six, birdied seven. So suddenly, I think I'm three under after seven holes. I feel like, yeah, like I guess that would be the part that I feel like I haven't really talked about because everyone really talks about, like, oh, like when did you know you had won? Like, again, I talk about, seeing the leaderboard on 14 and, birding 14, 15. But yeah, even the beginning of that round, I remember it was just overall a really solid round.
Allison, obviously fans and so many people that watch know that winning the major is hard, but what's the hardest part that you wouldn't have known until you walked onto the tee on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, Scotty, you would know being inside the ropes, like week in, week out. I think just honestly, like, it's just so different from a normal week, right? Like, you show up to an event on a Thursday and Friday, like, I have my mom following me, maybe,
Mhm.
5 to 10 people following each group. And no, it was just different. I mean, like that final round, even Thursday, Friday, then like I had a few friends out, and then you get to the weekend, people are off work, they want to see Pebble Beach, and suddenly, like you're in the final. I think I was like fourth to last, fifth to last on Saturday too. Like there's people everywhere. So like I remember kind of like we were planning like how to go to the bathroom. Like there's just so much like logistic stuff where like I mean like because Pebble has like you shuttle to the range, right? And then
Yeah,
there's the two putting greens. Like the whole week I had been putting at the downstairs putting green by one. Like the final day I just putted by the driving range because I was like I cannot get stopped by people and sign autographs on the way to the first tee. Like I'm just
sure.
never gonna get there. Like it's just kind of like all these small things that I mean, obviously, I love having fans out. Like, I'm so appreciative of that. But, like, you also kind of have to think about the logistics of, like, getting around and just, yeah, like, getting around the course and, yeah, getting to the first tee. And, I mean, as much as I would love to sign so many signatures, like, it's not really the time to be doing that. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, still kind of lives in my memories. And, I mean, even it's like we just don't get a lot of events that are like that where you get a lot of people out. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the big thing about majors is like everyone knows like it's an elevated event and they're typically really well attended. And then yeah, you're in those final groups and suddenly the fairways are lined and it's just very different. I mean, I know I've talked about in the past where I feel like I didn't even talk to Jay until the putt dropped on 18 because there's a camera in my face the whole round and like we were on the
Yeah.
clock at some point. Like, yeah, it was just so different from your normal tournament round.
I feel like this is the question that might get clipped. At what point in a golf tournament do you realize this is so scheduled? I have to map out when I can go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm,
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
yeah, we're
I
maybe
believe
getting
it.
like we're maybe getting TMI, but I'm very much a bathroom snob. Like I hate porta potties. So I will say I probably
Hmm.
think about it a lot more than the average person. But no, but I mean like especially a property like Pebble where it's so large and yeah, like I said, like you're shuttling to the driving range, like shuttling back. It's definitely something you have to think about. Just especially once you bring in other people into the mix and like the ropes don't really matter most of the time when there aren't that many people following you, right? Like you just duck under, go to the bathroom, like come back in. Whereas once everything's lined, it's like you have a security guard assigned to you, and it becomes a whole like a bigger deal.
I know we've asked some bigger picture questions about this. We will move on, but I am fascinated in like I think when you're a kid, you talk about like winning a major championship. You talk about winning, like accomplishing a lifelong dream. How has your life changed as this major champion that you wouldn't have anticipated after lifting the trophy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you win and you know it'll be life changing, and then I think just to actually be living it in real time is very different. I mean, first of all, like it's just opened so many doors for me. Like I was probably like on the bubble, like maybe on the outside looking in for Solheim Cup, and like that definitely got me both onto both the 23 and the 24 teams. And I mean, just the people that I've met so far, I feel like, I mean, Chevron has the past champions dinner, and I feel like the US Open has a pretty similar network of past champions as well. Like, there's so many like legends that I've met since then. I mean, like I played that Pebble Beach Pro-Am earlier this year and like chatted with Hollis Stacy, Pat Bradley for like what felt like 4 or 5 hours each. Like like you just get to meet so many people, and I mean, one gets to like kind of relive the win again, and also just hear about their experiences on tour, 30, 40 years ago. I think that's been really awesome, and yeah, just the people, honestly. I mean, yeah, even when I went back to Pebble, it's just crazy. Like I walked into the pro shop with Megan. We were looking at merch again, and just like the workers there. I mean, obviously it means a little more to them, working out on property, like
Sure.
a little different than just going to the grocery store out here. But yeah, like we got recognized by like our shuttle driver from Spanish Bay over to Pebble. Like we walked to the pro shop, get recognized. It was really cool, and I mean, I think also I'm really lucky that Pebble's a pretty well visited destination as well. Like I've had so many friends just that I haven't spoken to in years. Like they take a picture by my plaque and like they take a selfie. I'm like, send me a selfie. Like I'll add it to my album. And
That's so
like I get to like share this win with so many people. I really think that's been, I think the most special thing is just, yeah, reconnecting with people and also like meeting new friends.
What's this album? How many photos do you have in it? What are you collecting in it?
Just in my phone, I've just created one. It kind of started as a joke, and then yeah, I think I've got probably like 15 to 20 pictures now. So
nice.
if you guys head over there,
Nice.
just snap a
Nice.
selfie and send it
Well,
over. I'll add it.
if we get to Pebble, we'll
You
have to
know,
send it.
listen, Scotty, you owe me a beer, so you can go to Pebble. You can buy
It's
me the
true.
beer, snap the cell. There we go. We got
I'm
it.
in. I'm in.
Ken, I do actually have
No,
a not week of story, but I do have a funny story for you. So I went to that
Please.
pro earlier this year and brought my best friend Aiko as well. She's came over, took the day off work, and so we played the pro-am, and I kind of told her, I was like, hey, like I think there's pictures of me like up in the tap room. It's the restaurant at Pebble, but I was like, I've had a few friends send it to me, but I haven't been in there to see it. So we go in, and the hostess is kind of like, oh, like, can I help you? And I told her, I was like, hey, like, is it all right if we just, make a loop, just kind of check out the memorabilia? And she's like, yeah, that's no problem. And like, there's a specific collage that like I've seen, like friends have sent it to me, but I'm looking for it. I don't know where it is in the tap room. And it happens to be like behind these ladies that are eating dinner, like behind their table. So I kind of go up to the table and I told them, I was like, hey, like, I promise I'm not taking pictures of you guys like eating dinner, but I'm just gonna take a picture of that real quick, like behind you. And they're really sweet. And one lady kind of looks at me and she's just like, "Oh, like, do you know her? Like, are you guys friends?" I mean, I was out of golf clothes, but
yeah.
clearly just
Wow.
didn't look like me in the pictures. And I kind of like, I wasn't sure if she was joking or not, so I just like took the pictures really quick, and I was just like, oh, like thank you so much for letting me interrupt. Like, have a great night, and I like ran out of there.
Yes. That's so
Oh,
cool.
Allison, I would have assumed if you were looking for it, people would have been like, "Oh, I've seen your photo. Let me help you find
Yeah.
this." But no,
Yeah.
they sent you out to find it like you were Indiana Jones.
The tap room, like you gotta have the ribeye chili there. It's so good.
Really?
It's like actual like pieces of like
Okay.
ribeye in the chili. Yeah.
I'll have to go back and order
Allison,
that.
do they give you a past champions discount?
I don't actually know. I mean, I've met enough people that like I kind of just go out there and play, which is really nice. I don't make it. I mean, Pebble was the first time, the Pebble Pro-Am earlier this year, and then I've been lucky enough to go back one more time now. So hoping that I can, kind of add it to the rotation. But I honestly don't know. I haven't really asked, but they gifted me a pretty nice package. I remember when I won. I still haven't used it. I don't know if it's expired yet. But yeah, it was for like I think it was like 8 people, like a 2 night stay, like play all three, or 3 night stay, like play all three courses.
Oh,
So
I'm
yeah,
going.
yeah, the certificate is somewhere in my house, and Yeah, haven't cashed it in yet. I don't know if it's expired, but no, Pebble has really been great to me. I feel like every time I go back, like they just it's been a treat.
Allison, you just
I doubt it expired. Sorry, Scotty. I
no,
doubt
go
it
ahead.
expired. But
No, come on.
this is my official petition that if you win a major championship, you get a 10% discount in the pro shop. That's the number one thing to add. Sorry, Scotty.
Allison, to close out the U.S. Open, obviously this tournament probably gets the most exposure on our tour of all the tournaments. If someone was watching us, or you, I should say, better, the LPGA for the first time this week, which player should they make it a point to follow and why?
Yeah, I think it really depends what you're looking for. I mean, the obvious top of mind, just go by the rankings, go watch Nelly, go watch Gino, just because they're so good. But at the same time, like, they will have a crowd. Like, that's going to be tough to get up close and personal. I mean, honestly, like, I feel like you can't really go wrong with whatever group you go at. Like, just where the ropes are, like, I think it's a really special part of our tour that you can really just go, like, within 20 feet of any player and be able to watch them hit shots. But yeah, I mean, like, depending on what part of the game you want to see, like, I mean, Julia hits it so far. I just feel like as a young kid, I would have loved to go out and watch her just bomb it. Because, like, it really doesn't look like she's swinging that fast, and suddenly she hits it 40
Yeah,
yards past you. So that's
true.
that's really impressive. I think like Andrea is one of the best putters I've ever seen. Her and Ayaka are great around the greens. So yeah, I mean, I think it really depends like what you're looking for, but honestly, you can't go wrong with any group out here. Like everyone out here is here for a reason.
The Edge lives on our website, which has all our content that gives you the cheat code. Find us on the web at golf.theedge.show or click the link in our show notes for your cheat code.
Allison, I think Scotty wants me to ask this question to give some intel for the European Solheim Cup
It's
team.
not true. It's not true.
But you did bring up Nelly. You two have made some history yourselves. First American duo to win 3 in a row, which I did some math. When you win 4 in a row, it also makes you the first to do 4 in a row. Yes, that's well earned, Allison. Do you like remember like in practice ahead of the 2023 Solheim Cup? Because I know there was a lot of discussion of the analytics. Like, at what point in practice may it have foursomes like dominance for you two clicked?
Yeah, honestly, it was just kind of a show up week of, and Stacy kind of had her list of um, like these are the people who play together, and she kind of told each of us like Nelly wasn't the only person on my list. Like everyone had like I think 3 people that it was like, hey, like you could do really well, and for each format as well, Stacy really went pretty deep into it. And I think she actually did have some influence on the pairings as well, like leading up from I believe we had like 3 or 4 events between selection at British running up into Solheim Cup. So like I remember like I got paired with Jen. I think like 2 or 3 tournaments in a row. Like I played with Stacey earlier in the year. She just kind of had the influence to be able to play with each of us, and then also like pair us as well. Like have the LPGA pair us within reason of like people that we might be paired with. And then no, like get to Spain, and I think we had three days of practice and just kind of kept switching out the groups, and then we get to the day before and Stacy's just like, hey, like these are the pairings that I'm thinking of for tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, I just remember her kind of being like, hey, like you're really lucky, like Nelly's a great player, so just go out there and try your best, basically, like she'll take care of you. And I was like, yeah, like I'm okay with
Yeah. Thanks, coach. Thanks, captain.
that.
I love like I think it's hard to envision so much of the nuance of these things as a casual fan, but you basically just described it Solheim speed dating. Like, oh, here's all these potential
Yeah,
pairs, and we're gonna run
absolutely.
through it real quick, and we'll see what happens. And then it ended up working.
Yeah, I mean,
Now,
like in the practice rounds, like she had us, playing like little 9 hole matches, like even within the team. So like there was, like I think Stacey did a great job of like also kind of like putting us under pressure without it, being overwhelming. So like we got to play a 9 hole match. I think we played I can't remember who we played. I think we played, I want to say Jen and Allie in our little like 9-hole match. But yeah, like just she has had us playing a bunch of matches, and I mean the golf ball as well, just making sure people are even paired with someone who's playing a similar golf ball. Just Stacy really went like deep into the weeds to pull out like the best pairings possible.
What what would you say has allowed you and Nelly in particular to be so successful?
Well, I mean, it's Nelly. She's a great golfer, Scotty.
It's not true. You're being humble, Allison.
No, I mean, I think we're very similar, like demeanor wise. I would say neither of us really gets too high, too low. Like I think just personality wise, we get along, and yeah, I mean, like I just think she's very good, and I also think like me and Jay do a great job of just course management. So like even when my game's not there, I think we've always been able to put something together. And yeah, I mean, Solheim Cup, I think just the adrenaline is unreal. I just think like the excitement for the tournament, like I feel like I've always played fairly well under pressure, like when I'm really enjoying myself, and like it really is kind of like the best week out on tour.
What is that course management planning like for foursomes where you're trying to navigate? I imagine there's some analytics coming in saying who should tee off odds, who should tee off evens. But, this is the most teamwork of an event at a Solheim Cup. Like, are you sitting down with Nelly and Jason and you and Jay trying to map it out? Or what does that teamwork look like?
Yeah, I would say probably Jason and Jay talked more than me and Nelly about it. I mean, we just kind of played the nines, like the practice rounds, and was kind of like, hey, like, like this shot looks good to me. Like, I think, like, no matter, how much analytics you run, it ultimately does just come down to comfort. And yeah, I mean, like, I know specifically Spain, like, Nelly just hits it a little further than me, and one was a drivable four. So it was kind of just like, okay, like, she's going to have odds because she can hit the green. Like, I was always going to have to lay up. And that to us felt like a pretty big disadvantage, like, right off the start. So I don't think we would have ever really, yeah, like put me out and, hit a 5 wood out and then she hits a wedge in. And then I remember like RTJ, kind of the same thing. Like it was one was a dog like right par 4 and she could hit it through the fairway. Whereas like I hit a good drive, it'll stay in the fairway. So that was kind of the decision maker for us there. And yeah, I mean like I know Stacy also ran it where she put like kind of like an analysis of like if you played it, like 10,000 times, like what's the average of like whatever everyone will make on the hole, like looked at our strokes gain data for the season, which again, like never really pans out in real life, like it does in the simulation. But I think it gave her a good idea of like she would just suggest to us, she was like, hey, like the data said, this person should take odds or this person should take evens, and then played it that way, and then some people switched if they didn't like it, but some people stuck to it. It really is just a comfort thing.
And to pivot to this year's Solheim, you're looking to get onto your third team. Right now, you're ninth in points. Top 7 get in on the point system. It's a really crowded group between 6 and 9 right now. 28-point gap between you and 6th. Now that we'll be in June when this episode posts. It's still May right now. How much is making the team on points or world ranking on your mind as of right now as we're heading into that?
Yeah, I mean honestly, like no matter what way you make the team, like you're on the team, and I trust that Angela will make the captain's picks that make the most sense to round out the team. And no matter what, like we'll have the best 12 players. Obviously hoping that I'm one of those 12 players, but I mean I think what I've always done is just focus on the actual work and just making sure that, like I'm giving myself the best shot. And
Yeah.
it's one of those, like, if you make it, you make it. And if you don't, like, it's out of your control a bit. So yeah, I mean, like I would love to make the team, but and it's obviously a huge goal of mine, but, it's also not the end of the world either way. So yeah, just putting my head down, going to work, and hopefully I'm on that team in a few months.
So, Scotty, you're going to clip this part and send it straight to Anna, right? All the insight we just got. Is that how this works?
Listen. We're a long way away there. We're just trying to have a good Thursday this week and go one day at a time.
I thought you wanted to make
missed
sure you wake up and get there on time tomorrow, but you could focus on Thursday. I
my
respect
Thursday.
that.
Thursday matters. I think I'll still make it to Thursday, no matter what time I wake up tomorrow. But maybe not. I don't know.
Oh boy, deep cuts.
Ryan French's article was a big talking point of the last player meeting about media availability. What was your takeaway from the player meeting from the commissioner at Mountain Ridge?
Yeah, I mean, I think my first thought was like, who are the 10 players he asked? Because I I don't really need to know, but like I
Sure.
swear like I kind of like almost like wonder if like he asked at the wrong times, like someone's headed to the first tee or something because like I swear like everyone out here is like so friendly. I mean, there's obviously circumstances that I know girls would say no to and like like I am a bit curious as to like how he approached them and asked for that interview because like I know like it's something that needs to improve, but at the same time I don't think access is as limited as it sounded in that article.
Hmm.
But I also think like he raises great points and I think he does a great job of, walking the balance of criticizing the tour, like rightfully so when it needs to be criticized, but I also think he in Monday Q like specifically does a great job of boosting the tour, like when we do a good job. Like I remember when we were over at Sharon Heights, he was just talking about how elevated the broadcast seemed that week.
Mm, yeah.
And like he also just gives us credit where credit is due as well. So I think he raised great points. I mean, like I do think there's areas to improve, and I do think we're hopefully taking steps in the right direction. And I'm really glad he wrote it. I just feel like everything he's written about, like it's his heart's obviously in the right place. So yeah, hoping that that inspires more girls to be more open. And I mean, at the end of the day, like I don't think there's anything or there's never bad attention, right? So hoping that it just hopefully brought more eyeballs to our tour and yeah, hopefully changes result from it just because he has been pretty influential in the past. So it would be really cool to see the result of this article in a few months or in a few years. Yeah, I just thought really well written because I thought that he criticized, but also was saying like there is a lot of stories to be told, and I think he's been making a really big effort for us.
I don't know if all attention's good. I don't know if I want my bathroom schedule planning pushed out there. I did want to push back, sharing Ryan's perspective on the accessibility issue. Having been in a position where Allison, obviously, you've been kind with talking with me before for stories, I think it can be really hard to approach someone and feel rebuffed and or I think I don't want to speak to Ryan's availability, but as a journalist, you may not have like open windows or as much time to be there. And I think what Ryan said when we talked with him was that he emailed agents ahead of time, and agents were fairly gatekeepy. I would say some of the upper echelon players that I've talked with have often referred me to go ask their agent first. And I think that can really turn a journalist off because it's like you're right physically in front of me. The odds of me asking you a question you don't like are by and large pretty low, right? Like we're trying to understand your perspective, your opinions, and how you play the game that obviously everyone out there is playing as a professional. They're insanely good. And I think that's where some of the challenge has remained. I think it's nuanced, and we could probably talk about this for hours, and we don't have to go all the way into the weeds. Though I'm always here for it. I like I like being like Stacy on this issue in particular, just because I think it's one of the more controllable things for players. Is that I think it's a correlation between what some players might see on social media, which is a consistent bombardment of really tough things to manage, and it's exhausting, versus like a media member from an outlet, from a Ryan, from Golf Digest, from a Golf Week, is there with a mission. There's a reputation there, and it's trying to, give an independent media perspective, which is also not often out there. So I understand there's nuance, but I would say in Ryan's limited defense, or I don't want to say limited, trying to understand Ryan's perspective, like if you're rebuffed once, well, it's like trying to talk to someone once they say no. Well, okay, now it feels really awkward going forward to ask again when it's probably a player he needs to talk to at some point down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you that it's a two-way street. Like there are definitely players that could do a better job, and and I also think there's obviously been, maybe there's just girls who don't want to talk to the media because something they've said in the past has been misconstrued. Like you said, there's a lot of nuance there. But yeah, I mean, like as a whole, like I just hope that it continues to improve and get better.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. With that said, Allison, obviously, I think players look up to you, and if you were commissioner for a day, what'd be the first change you'd make?
And I need to
I
jump in. You
would.
cannot say add more bathrooms. That's not allowed.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
I know it's definitely a bigger challenge than a one day thing. I would love to just see our schedule get better geographically, and I do think even from my rookie year, it's been getting better and better. Like I give the tour a lot of credit. Like I'm sure it's not easy, balancing the sponsor demands, like and everything else. Like I know the schedule's always the hot topic, but just top of mind. Like I just feel like we're traveling so much, right? Like two Asia swings, Europe. Um, I just feel like that's always something that I would want to improve just from the player perspective. But no, I mean, like, I think Craig and his team have been doing such an awesome job. Like, Scotty, I'm sure you know it as well, seeing it inside the ropes. Like, I'm sure it's not easy to be in their position as well. But no, definitely, I think geographical flow of our tournament schedules would be top of mind. But um, honestly, like I've been really happy with my time out on tour, and like I feel like the longer you're out here, like the more and more of a family it feels like. So I don't know if the commissioner role would be would be a good fit for me. It's a little too much public speaking, but no, I think Craig's been doing a great job so far.
What's been the craziest travel story you have?
Craziest travel story. I mean, I think everyone has their travel mishaps. Nothing too crazy. I just remember KPMG in 23. There was just that we were at Baltusrol and New Jersey got hit with all those storms. So I think I was in the Newark airport for just in the airport for like 27 hours because the flights kept getting delayed, canceled. I was just inside. So that would probably be the worst one that like jumps out to me. And then yeah, I eventually got back to LA Wednesday, I think. Yeah, and then I mean, I think everyone makes their travel mistakes. Like, I know we used to use like the LPGA hotel planner, and like it would show you like the distance of your hotel or whatever. And I know my first year at British, like we were at Muirfield and we accidentally booked a place like across the bay because it was within 3 miles, but like
Oh no!
No,
Oh no!
not a close drive. And then kind of looked it up like 3 weeks before, and we were like, yeah, this is definitely not going to work out for the tournament. So like, there's definitely been a few mishaps, but no, I mean, I think I've been really lucky as well to know girls out here when I came out on tour. Like, I think that really helps. Like, I know I've asked Megan a lot, like, oh, like for this tournament, like, what airport do you fly to? Just like stuff like that. Yeah, I just think the more people like the more you're not afraid of asking questions. Like everyone out here is really nice.
on that topic, and I'll speak for Kent because I'm sure he feels the same way, but I think you're by far one of the most kindest and most likable players on tour. I think that goes to the team with you and Jay and your mom and dad. I guess my question is do you make a conscious effort to handle yourself in a way that attracts others?
First of all, I really appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. I would say like I think it gets to a point, and I think part of it too is like I went to college for 5 years. Like I loved being part of the team environment as well. But I think like everyone kind of hits the point where it's just easier to be out here with friends and to be having a good
Yeah.
time, right? Like golf is so hard, just like the travel, like the work. Like obviously it's a dream job and like I love being out here, but it does get tough at times and I think you get the perspective of like, like it's really nice to go out for dinner or like with your friends or just kind of be able to take your mind off golf. And like I said, like I've played with a lot of these girls now, whether it was college golf, junior golf, amateur golf. So I'm also really lucky that I had a lot of these relationships in place when I came out on tour. But no, I mean, like when I came out my rookie season, like I remember like so many people, like even before they really knew me, they were like, "Oh, like you're a rookie. Like if you ever need help, like just like just ask me for help." And I think it's almost a bit of like definitely like a way for me of like just in a small way of like being able to pay it forward almost. Like I still remember being a rookie out here, and I mean, some days it still kind of feels like you're a rookie, right? Like it almost feel like I can't believe it's year five.
Yeah.
And like to your point, what I think you said earlier, like it's just such a family out here, right? Like everyone does kind of take care of you. Um, just yeah, like I just feel like it's just kind of like this, like a never-ending circle, like other people show you kindness. Like I just think they also deserve it back.
I really appreciated the way Scotty framed that question. It was almost like a LinkedIn request at the start. Allison, you still have your connect with me on LinkedIn in your Instagram bio.
Okay.
How
I
many
didn't think that
people?
would come up today. Honestly, I've just
How
been
many?
too lazy to change it.
That's awesome. It's amazing.
How
It's
many
amazing.
people like connected with you after you won at Pebble?
Oh, so many. I mean, I think so.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so the running joke at USC Business School is like the golden number is like 500 because after that it doesn't actually show like the number of connections you have, like it just says 500 plus. And I don't know if I was at 500 before the win. I might have like just hit it or something. Or I want to say like I won and then like immediately got to that 500 plus number. But no, a lot. Yeah. Definitely a lot more connections since then.
Now I know the real win from Pebble. Finally getting that plus in your LinkedIn profile.
500.
To follow up on your previous answer, you're talking about traveling, some of the challenges that life presents on the LPGA. What's a belief about professional golf you had at 18 before your 5 years of playing collegiately that you now know is completely, absolutely wrong?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's more so like a belief. I think I was more just intimidated, honestly. Like, I mean, I grew up going to the LPGA event in Hawaii, so it really is like I've been seeing women on the tour since I was like 6 or 7 years old. Like, I just think like no one was ever unfriendly to me. I just think it was like, oh wow, like they're professional athletes. Like they're like just intimidating to be around just because they're so successful and it is really special to be out here and be surrounded by so much talent and so much hard work. But I think it's also just been really nice to be able to get to know these people personally and be like, okay, like they're also like human too. Like they're not just like superheroes out here every week. Like they're also just really nice people. So I wouldn't say that was like a bad belief, but it's more just like, like you never really think about them like off the golf course when you're younger, right? Like it's kind of like everything else, like they have good days, they have bad days, and there's this entire life off the course that you don't really see and like think about until you're out here and in the daily grind.
I mean, it's hard to not evaluate athletes, especially when you're young, just on like, did they make a shot? Did they find the fairway? It's oversimplistic, but it's hard to see it any other way.
Well, hi, Allison. You've been so gracious, and I know how hard this week is and how long this week is. So we got five quick ones, and we'll get you out of here. We call it Caddy Call It Rapid Fire.
This is the debut.
This is the debut.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So number one. What's the most interesting thing in your bag?
Oh, it is not in the bag yet, but I think it'll make it there at some point. I'm working on putting a 9 wood into the bag.
Sick.
So hopefully by the time this episode releases, I've like tweaked it enough and it's perfect and it's in the bag.
I mean, good week for it.
Yeah, not this week. I haven't figured it out yet.
Okay,
That and then I've got this little warm-up aid that everyone always asks me about. It's like a PVC pipe. You've seen it, I'm sure,
correct.
Scotty.
I've seen this. I've seen
Yeah.
this.
Like let it like without fail, every single prime group asks us, and they're just kind of like, "What is that thing in your bag? Like it looks all beat up." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've had it since high school. Like it's been there for a long time." So
Kent, you want to ask the second one?
Scotty, I'm not a caddy.
Oh,
Breaking
fuck.
news.
The funnest place you ever played golf?
uh, I mean, I think just pure golf, it has to be Pebble Beach, even without the
Okay,
wind.
okay. Let's be honest.
Yes, and then just being able to like, I think it depends. I mean, like for fun, I think Canadian Open is always fun. Just again, just as an event. Um, and then I think just I've never played links golf well, but being over at St. Andrews and just all the history, every time you go, I think to Europe and yeah, like play a new links course, I think it's a very different type of golf, and I think that's a lot of fun.
Okay, not gonna hurt any feelings here, Allison. Favorite player caddy duo to be paired with on tour?
I have not yet been paired with them since they started working together, but I would love to be paired with Megan and Pete. Just because Megan's one of my longtime friends, and let's see, I love Nasa and Greg as well. They're awesome. I would say just basically all the really long term caddy player duos, like Charlie and Ads are really fun to be around. Nelly and Jason. Just I think people that yeah now you get to repeat playing with them and you know them a little more personally. It's always a lot of fun.
All right, number four. Favorite cheat day meal?
Favorite cheat day meal? Probably pasta and ice cream.
Ooh, double
There's an
whammy.
Italian spot and there's a Salt and Straw like 10 minutes from my house. So just load up
Mm,
on carbs and then get some ice cream afterwards.
mm.
I love it. All right, and number five. Who should be the next guest on the LPGA Edge?
Have you had Ingrid on yet? I mean, I feel like that's an easy slam dunk right there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It does.
I think we know who's responsible for coordinating that between me and Scotty. I think that answer is actually kind of clear.
I mean, she's not doing anything till 10 tomorrow morning.
Oh, guys. Scotty, I'm in the East Coast Bureau right
I
now,
know,
so
I
I
know,
don't
I
know if we
I
got
know,
this.
I know.
Uh, uh, Allison, I'm sorry, I have to ask one follow up from the rapid fire
Yeah,
that
of course.
breaks how rapid fires work.
Ooh.
When you first saw the PVC thing, when you were in high school, what was your reaction to that?
Yeah, so it's actually like a training aid that Megan Kang's dad like made by himself. So like she has one, she just doesn't travel with it. Like I'm the only one who travels with it. She just I think works with it when she's at home. But no, I mean like I don't know, like it's just been in the bag for so long. Like I honestly can't really even remember first impressions. I just kind of remember her dad being like, "Okay, like this is it, and like here's the positions I want you to hit, and this is how it's going to help you do that." I was like, okay. And then I took it to my swing coach and, like swung it a few times. And he's just like, I love this thing. Like the weight's right. Like there's no club face on it. So you're not worried about manipulating the club face. You just like to swing this thing like as much as you can. Like it's so good. And I was like, that's two people that are, like great coaches, great at knowing how the swing works that have said, use this thing. And so ever since then, like I have.
I hope there's some
Nice.
subtle like appreciation that you carry Megan's dad's contraption or tool and she does not. That's that
She
would
does.
hurt.
I'm sure she uses it when she's home. She just. It does look very janky. Like it's very out of my place. Like when we take prime pictures, Jay takes it out the bag. But it is always there.
So, so are we? Can we get like a updated one? Can we get like a fresh one?
I have one that was been spray painted pink. I got it like 3 years
Okay.
ago, and it's just too bright.
Okay.
But no, this one's just been in there for so long. Like I don't know what I'd do with a new one.
Fair enough. Fair
All right,
enough.
to let you both go, you both have to answer this question. What's the winning score going to be this week?
I think it depends on how tough Sunday plays. Because I think you'll see a few lower scores the first few days. Like I think all the par fives are fairly gettable. There's a few short fours. So I think there's honestly like a lot of birdie looks out there. It's more just about obviously just avoiding the big numbers. I mean, if they want to see birdies on Sunday, I think it can go to like 12 under. If they want it to be, a U.S. Open, I think it could be just 3 to 4 under. I really just think it depends on how low scores go on Thursday, Friday, and how the USGA like decides to respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. If anything, I don't know what you thought or you and Jay thought today, Allison, but I thought it was relatively soft. Fairways were kind of soft, and obviously, it's going to get a lot firmer. Especially, it's been kind of windier than I expected the first couple days out here. So if that stays, I think it's going to obviously play harder. 10 under, I think is a good number. I think
Yeah.
if you hit 10, you're feeling pretty good about your chances on Sunday.
I would love to know how often 10 under does not win the U.S. Women's Open. I don't have that number right in front of me.
Oh, you should have
That's
researched.
ambitious. To be fair, I said your Chevron prediction was going to be ambitious, and you got it within a stroke. So, kudos. You know your stuff.
Nice.
What was your Chevron prediction, Scotty?
Oh, what was it?
Didn't Nelly win? What was
Yeah,
it?
well, it was like I don't know.
You were one below, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, if you thought about it, there's not much trouble out there. You can kind of hit it anywhere you want. You can get it to all the fives. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's like kind of a bomber's paradise, and I mean, it's good for us, but it wasn't a lot of trouble. Like, like when I walked, it was like, okay, well, miss over there is fine. Miss over there is fine. Like, you can still hit iron. The rough wasn't super high, so this is a little different. This is gonna play a little different.
For sure.
I would hope. I don't need to see Chevron 2.0. Now, however, if Riv wanted to install a little kiddie pool right next to it, maybe I would have signed up.
I'm
I
jumping
think
in.
I would love an elevator from 18 up to the clubhouse first.
Allison, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate you joining us here at the start of the week. Good luck out there. Scottie, as always, man, thanks for joining, and do the things, score the points, and I hope you got the intel you were looking for.
I definitely got it. But no, thank you so much for joining us, Allison. Again, I know firsthand how long these weeks are, and obviously someone like you has a lot of media obligations, so to make time for us means a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me out. It was fun.